We're here in Baltimore at Under Armour's global headquarters to see if a 3D printed part can be a viable component in their new $300 shoe, the UA Architech.
Let's find out. What led to this particular structure, and how is this going to actually benefit somebody wearing these shoes?
Yeah, this creates a nice dynamic stability platform for the end user, and by the interlacing lattice structures, they actually build into a cam, which is an energy return mechanism. It allows us to do the power rack movements of a weightlifting shoe, and also go right into the CrossFit movements without changing the shoes.
I think the next best thing to do is to see one of these shoes actually printed so that later we can go and test it.
Started a job last night, and now we're getting ready to open it up and take the parts out. So right now we're putting this acrylic block. This allows the powder not to spill over. Now we're in the breakout area. The breakout area is where we separate the powder from the actual physical parts. And we can just really shake this powder out. The next step is to go to the sandblaster and blow the parts off. We're all done.
Here we are in the Innovation Lab to test out the 3D printed components with machines that simulate the stresses athletes put on the sneakers in the real world. Although Under Armour won't let us wear the shoe, we can certainly test to see if it'll fall apart.
The best way to test the shoe is to really run and jog in it every day. Unfortunately, most people have to sleep, so the ElectroPulse machine allows them to test the shoe unattended.
You can clearly see how springy the Architech is, but there wasn't a whole lot of difference between the shoe and the traditional trainer. Now let's move on to the next test.
One of the biggest stress areas in a shoe is the flex point. This flex testing machine will be testing the durability of that flex point.
We ran through this test a few times, and while we noticed a little pulling at the flex point, it was nothing unusual, because only the midsole of this shoe is 3D printed. Now let's check out the final test.
This is a dynamic impact tester, and it's going to be testing the rebound energy of the shoe. A traditional cross trainer has a lot of springiness, but you're losing out on some stability, which is really important when you're doing weight training. A 3D printed heel component should maintain that springiness while also giving you improved dynamic stability.
Here's where you really see the benefits of a 3D printed midsole. The unique latticework maintains rebound in the heel while providing insane stability. The traditional trainer doesn't do as well. Without the 3D printed latticework, it's bouncing all over the place. And the proof is in the graphs. There's a very clear difference between the two and how they react to having a missile launched at their heel. Calling it the first 3D printed shoe is a bit of an exaggeration. The Architech only uses a 3D printed midsole, which keeps it mostly in line with a traditional trainer. However, the new midsole does show its advantages in adding stability to what would normally be a very bouncy shoe. But despite being a real technological innovation that opens the door for amazing customizability, at $300, this one's best left to the professionals.